Today, I'm going to give you a tour of my homestead. You're going to see all the amazing things you can do in a small space. You don't need 20 acres to homestead. Let's go. Welcome to Becky's Homestead. I'm going to show you a few ideas that you could lay out on your homestead if you have small acreage. I'm talking like 2-3 acres or possibly less. I'm going to give you some good ideas today. Let's start by talking about a chicken coop because every homestead needs a chicken coop. I only have 2.5 acres. So you can see I don't have a big homestead, but I love to use every inch of it and have a lot of stuff on my homestead. I like a big chicken coop. I love my fresh eggs. So here is a nice big chicken coop with a big hen house. Next to this, I have over here, right next door, I have a pen for Neil. Where is Neil? Oh, he's over there in the sunshine. So if you want a pet potbelly pig, this is plenty large for that. Or if you like to have goats for milk, you could definitely keep 2 goats in here. It's big enough. You don't need tons of room. It's a nice little pen, and you can see that I still have the little toys I made in there for the goats. They would walk on the 2x4s and go up on the roof and stand on the roof. So if you give them a few things to do in the small pen, they're very, very happy living in there. And then back here, I have my horse pastures. I have them in different size pens only because if one gets injured or if a friend comes over, I can put their horse in a pasture. So I like to cross fence. But they run around in there, they live in there, they're perfectly happy and healthy. You don't need a 10-acre pasture for your horses to keep them happy and healthy. If you manage your homestead correctly, you can manage a very small piece of property and have a lot of happy animals on it. Next over here, I have my little tiny barn. Again, I try to do everything small because I'm trying to fit a lot of things on my 2.5 acres. So I got a very small barn, and I just have just enough for what I need. So I can groom the horses here, trim the horses' feet here, tack up when I'm putting the saddle and bridle on. And then I just built a big bench so people can sit down and rest and talk. And so again, it's a very small area, but it can accommodate a lot of different little projects. And that's the key, is everything has to be multifunction when you're on a small homestead, but you love to have a lot of stuff. I personally don't want a big acreage. I don't desire that. I love having my little tiny homestead, and then it's kind of fun to try to figure out how to design everything so it's multifunction and very enjoyable to be in. And the way I have this set up is I have a food bucket there and another one over here, right next to the barn. It's so quick and easy to feed them. And when you choose small animals like I do, Charlie's 14.2, he's the biggest one we have. They don't eat much, so we don't have to spend a lot of money on food. And everything's just, think small and organized. Back here, we just bartered to have the land cleared, which you know I love to barter. Bartering is awesome when you're a homesteader. Homesteaders have a lot of skills, so they have a lot of things to barter with, which is just so awesome. If you can get that going, you'll just be like, yay, look what I bartered for. And I feel exactly that with the land behind us, because that was a big job. And so look at all that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the horse pasture over so they're going to have even more room. Not that they need room, because show where they stand. That's what horses spend a lot of time standing around. Of course, they spend a lot of time grazing and eating on the hay roll over there. But they do definitely spend a lot of time standing around. Horses aren't super active animals. I like to talk about horses and I say they're mildly active all the time. It's just kind of very mild, constant activity. Mine are perfectly happy in there. I don't have any health issues whatsoever. I don't have any behavioral issues whatsoever. So they can live perfectly happy on small acreage if you manage them properly. So what I've been doing lately is pounding in these T-posts which I have a lot of T-posts. Somebody gave me some T-posts. So I'm pounding all the T-posts in to do the fencing back here. It's pretty easy actually. I used to do wooden posts and I used to dig the hole with the, you know, the post hole diggers. And then one time I just tried these T-posts that you pound in. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, that is so much easier. And the only thing is, since we have a Hefflinger pony, I do have to put one strand of hot wire because little Hefflingers will push on fencing. They're kind of little bulldozers. So it easily holds the wire and one strand of hot wire. It doesn't have to be heavy duty. The mule and the donkey, they don't touch the fencing. So they're really easy on fencing, actually. Mine are. I don't know about anybody else's. Okay, so as you can see, I got all that cleared all the way down. It looks so good. I'm so happy about that. For bartering, bartering's the best. I highly recommend that you hone your bartering skills if you're a homesteader. Okay, here's my hog pen, which is not too big, 16 by 16, which is big enough for one hog. I have raised 2 hogs in there. It can hold 2, but you get so much meat from one hog. It's like I don't need to raise 2 at a time. But the good thing is when the hogs are butchered, the pen dries out, a little bit of grass grows up in there, and then I use this for a dog kennel while I'm eating all the meat from the pig. And it works perfect because if I have to go out for the day or overnight, or I have somebody babysitting my animals, they can put them in this, you know, this little dog kennel during the day and they're safe and sound. It works perfect. Again, it's multi-purpose, multi-function. Works really, really good. This used to be all trees, and I'm so happy they were removed because I was nervous they might fall in my cabin if there was a hurricane or something. But now this whole big area, what I'm gonna do is build a cute, big, I want to call it a pen, because I need a pen around my garden because I have so many animals and chickens and everything that want to get into my garden. I really have to protect my garden. So just once and for all, I'm going to build a really big garden fence, and it's going to be like a little pen. I can get in there and do all my garden stuff and then close the gate when I leave and nothing can get in there. And this is my old garden that I used to grow my vegetables in. What I'm going to do with this, all this, I'm just going to plant flowers, lots of flowers, and I'm going to try to plant all bee attracting flowers, bees and butterflies. That's what I'm going to go for out here. Plus it'll add a splash of color and it'll be really pretty to look at. So that's what I'm going to do because I want to plant an orchard in the back part of my property, which I'll go back there and show you part of that now. You can get so much accomplished on small acreage. You don't need to have 10, 15, 40 acres to have a homestead. You can definitely homestead on 2.5 acres. Over here, I'm gonna have my berry patch, which I love berries because they're very healthy for you. So I'm gonna plant some blackberry, blueberry, and raspberry bushes. And again, I might need a fence around them for the deer and the chickens and the birds and stuff. So I have plenty of room now that the property is cleared. I'm gonna have a big berry patch right here. And then I'm gonna make pie. I'm gonna make pies out of that. I'm over the moon excited about my orchard because I've really wanted to plant a little orchard. Now when I say orchard, I mean a little tiny orchard. I'll probably only have 6 to 8 trees, but I'm gonna take really good care of them so they really produce. And I'm gonna start out with 4 trees. I'm gonna start out with 2 apple trees, and then in the back there, if Scott can turn a little, you can see, I have plenty of room for 2 peach trees. And I will space them in case I wanna do 6 trees. But I'm so excited about that, and I just can't wait to buy those and get them in the ground. That's the thing, even if you have small acreage, you have like a million projects that you just want to do. So it doesn't matter, you don't need a big huge homestead to have a million projects. You can have a little homestead and you can have a million projects that you want to do and have so much fun and be really happy there. Bigger isn't always better. Last but not least is my little tiny log cabin that I built. I am just so proud of my little log cabin that I built myself. And the key is, I knew in my brain, pick a little tiny one so I could build it. I knew my heart, you see the big ones and you're like, oh, that's nice. And then I just told myself, if I choose a big one, I'll never be able to build it and finish it. So I made myself stick with the little tiny plan that I had. And really, I couldn't be happier. It's all worked out. It all works together in harmony and peace. And when you're not having a lot of troubles, you're happier. You know, because like if the chicken coop's overcrowded and the hens are losing their feathers and the horses aren't happy and they're fighting and kicking each other and, you know, the house isn't finished, pretty soon you're just like, ugh, you want to pull your hair out. So the key is go very small and conservative and just put a lot of thought into it. That's the key. You have to lay it out so things are simple and multifunctional. Then you'll be really happy and things will run smooth. I wrote a couple books. I have some ebooks that can help you kind of get your thoughts together and, you know, help you in your planning process if you think you want to be a homesteader. And the links for my ebooks are always in the description below. Scott puts them in there.